Alright, so I said in my last video that I was going to post a video about my political stance, and so I figured that about 6 hours ago I voted, and so I thought that I would post a video about who I voted for, why I voted for this person, and I will say that up until probably about 3 or 4 o'clock today, it was still kind of, I pretty much decided on it, but I wanted to make sure. So I've put together a pros and cons list of both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And so I'm going to read the following and explain why I voted for Barack Obama. So first I'm going to go through the pros and cons of Barack Obama. The pros. He's been against the war from the beginning and invading Iraq. He wants to use military wisely and serve American people's interests. He believes that, yes, we should have an act involving Homeland Security defending our country, but wants to make sure that our civil rights are not neutered as far as invading our privacy with no definitive reason behind it, aka Patriot Act number 2, which has been drafted, which takes away even more liberties and rights than the first one did. He does not want an immediate extraction for the troops in Iraq. He wants to set a date for an extraction, but not make it immediate. He wants to end the war as safely as possible and spend more time in an exit strategy than we spent in the entry strategy. We never had an exit strategy. He believes that it is audacious that we've been spending over $200 billion a year on this war, putting us in the biggest deficit that we've ever had, and believes that it's undermining our long-term security and neglecting our economy in this country. He is for civil union and domestic partnership. He is pro-choice. He's not against capital punishment, but he believes that we should focus more on people that do and do not deserve the sentence. He wants to make it harder to get the sentence and not just put anyone on death row. So basically, he still believes that it is, something that is useful, but he believes that, there should be more that goes into the judicial system and, the sentencing as far as who deserves it and who doesn't. He comes from more of the lower to middle class demographic, therefore possibly being more empathetic towards those in the same situation, which leads to the segue into he wants to roll back the tax cuts put in place by Bush for the 1% of the people that don't need it, such as the high-class citizens. He believes in tax cuts for people that are considered middle class, basically anybody making under $75,000. He wants to provide subsidies for affordable health care amongst the public and is concerned about health care but doesn't want to make it mandatory for anyone except for children. He believes that coverage up to the age of 25 by their parents is something that should be put in state, as opposed to right now, some states, they cover you until the age of 25, but most cut you off when you turn 18 and when the parents are not claiming you as a dependent anymore. He also wants to reduce premium costs. He is concerned with the mortgage crisis and started a $10 billion home foreclosure prevention fund to help bridge the lender and the borrower, and believes in separation between church and state. He wants to crack down on employers that employ illegal immigrants, but does not want to deport everyone and close the border. He believes that immigrants should already learn English before entering and working in our country, considering English is the primary language of this country. You should learn it if you want to live here. He worked as a state legislator, provided tax relief, and is currently a senator in Illinois and does have experience, though not in the White House, and in politics. And his views and stances and his opinions, he is does not only have political experience, but believes his street smarts also has a lot to do with his credentials to become president. He's also endorsed by Ted and Carolyn Kennedy, being referred to as the new JFK. The cons are he wants to pay more attention to the efficiency and execution of affirmative action that may be influenced mainly by the African American citizens that may or may not make a difference. I myself have pretty much always been against affirmative action. I believe that it's actually segregating us more as a country, but I'll go into that more in a different video. He's against gay marriage, which is probably a religious stance, but the fact that he is for civil union and domestic partnership makes, that's cool. Now, he favors illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, and so I'm not exactly sure. They didn't go into detail exactly how he feels about that, but that is something that he does favor. Now, we're going to go into Hillary's pros and cons. She's pro-choice and against abortion, and wants to increase education about it, hoping to decrease the amount of abortions. She is she's also for civil union and domestic partnership. She wants to put a cap on premiums on health coverage, but She wants mandatory health care for everyone through the Congressional Health Plan, possibly getting to the point of garnishing wages to pay for it, and maybe even the need to show proof of health insurance before even gaining employment. She believes in, all right, going back to the pros, she believes in separation between church and state as well. Now, she wants to make it that you must document a path to legalization and instate a fine for those who came in illegally and reevaluate immigrants who have committed crimes in our country to not give them the privileges that they are receiving at this present time. She's not at all happy with the way Bush has run the country in the past 8 years and has stated repeatedly how much she disdains the man. She does not want to be judged upon Bill's time in office, but on her abilities alone. She does not want to ride on the coattails of her husband, which I think is good. Now, as far as the cons go, she wants to raise taxes to help assist her healthcare proposal. She is also against gay marriage. She wants to put a 5-year freeze on interest rates to protect the banks, which would make the mortgage rate increase, which could hinder the ability for people who are trying to get mortgages even now. She wants us to teach the immigrants English, which basically is going to be utilizing our education system that is already in danger. And they should know English if they want to live in a country that is an English-speaking country. She has flip-flopped at 2 different debates about her view on whether to give the immigrants driver's licenses. First she said yes, now she's saying no. She uses her tenure in the office as an argument in her favor as to why she should be voted in. She also flip-flops about how long we should wait to extract the troops. First she says 60 days, then she says 16 months, and she said this in the same debate. It wasn't a different debate. It was in the same debate that was at the Kodak Theater. She also flip-flopped about her stance on the war. Originally she voted for it, but it seems that now that less than half of the country is for the war, it seems she's not for it anymore either. She refuses to say that her vote for the war was a mistake. She absolutely refuses to use that word. It doesn't seem like somebody who would ever own up to her mistakes, and that's something that Bush does. He refuses to ever be seen as a flip-flopper, so he will do everything in his power to make it seem like, well, what he said is what he said and what he meant, and there's no question. She came from a privileged lifestyle, giving her simply a sympathetic as opposed to an empathetic view on those who are lower to middle class citizens, which I think it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a con as far as most of the other cons that she has, but the fact that Obama comes from, he built his way to the top, I believe that, he would be more empathetic towards, lower middle class citizens than somebody who has lived a privileged lifestyle. So that's basically what I wanted to get across. And another reason that I voted for Obama, he has yet to do a smear campaign against somebody else. He has yet to do any finger pointing or name calling. And I believe, he's a very trustworthy guy, and he has said on many occasions how great of an opponent Hillary is, and he has no problem owning up to things, that he may have said. He has no problem stating that he agrees with other people, and, that, yeah, these people are making great points. He's a great public speaker, and he seems like a very personable guy. So, all in all, I would just like to say, good luck, Obama. I'll be voting for you.